Good morning, everyone. My name's Ash Balakrishnan. I'm the Vice Chair of ARCC. I'm going to start with some bad news. It's a cold, wet day in Croydon, right? And I've got some good news for you as well. Let's give the person next to us a nice, warm pat on the back for being here, right? There you go. Brilliant. Right. Okay, guys, great. So hopefully everyone's getting warmed up a little bit now. Right. So I'd like to welcome you all to the ARCC AGM for 2022-2023. So before we formally start the meeting, and whilst people are getting comfortable, I'd like to play a short reel of some of our achievements for this year. So if you could.
Good morning to all the friends and colleagues here this morning. Lovely to see you all, as always. My name is Mamun. I work as the Program Manager at ARCC. Hopefully everyone can hear me. I'm finding it difficult to hear myself, so I hope it's loud and clear. Last year we had the AGM in December, and it was snowing and it was absolutely freezing. I know Ash has already mentioned the weather, so we brought it forward this year to November, hoping that it would be a bit better, but unfortunately it's raining. So I'm going to propose to the board that next year we bring it forward to maybe October time, where we can have a bit more pleasant weather. June, okay. It all depends on whether we can get all the annual report and the accounts ready. And we know how challenging that is, for people who run organizations. So yeah, you saw some amazing stats there. Some of the colleagues will touch upon that and give you a bit more information regarding some of our achievements. So before we start the formal meeting itself, I've been asked to do a bit of housekeeping. So just very quickly, toilets are located through the double doors and then double doors again at the back. So if you do need to use the facilities, please do so. Feel free to grab tea or coffee anytime during the AGM. It's always available at the tea coffee counter at the back. In case of the fire alarm, please do vacate through the double doors and then the double doors to your left. There are fire exit signs signposted to the exits, and if you need any assistance, colleagues from ARCC will be able to help you with that. So we do have a packed agenda for you. So what I wanted to do was just very quickly run you through the actual agenda for this morning. I know some of you have seen the agenda online, and we've printed a few copies and left it at the front desk, so hopefully you've managed to grab that. But if not, just very quickly, in a moment, I'll pass the mic over to our CEO, Ima, to chair the rest of the meeting. And then we'll have the chair's address from Mr. J. Patel. And then we have the exciting appointment of our new trustees. Some of you may have seen the trustee recruitment ad that went out recently, and we had a great response. So we hope to be introducing our new trustees. I think most of them are here this morning, so we'll get them to say a few words also. And then we'll have the Mayor of Croydon, Mr. Jason Perry, give an address to the audience. Following on from that, there'll be the Secretary's and the Treasurer's report, and then we'll pass on to the CEO's report. And then we've got a couple of guest speakers who we'll introduce later on. Following that, there'll be a couple of presentations from our colleagues on a couple of the projects that we have at the moment. There are so many projects, but unfortunately, it's just not possible to showcase all of them. So we'll try and get very quick updates from one or two of our projects. And then there'll be any other business, and then we'll break for lunch and networking, and hopefully everyone will be able to enjoy the lunch a bit later. So please do get comfortable, and I'll pass the mic over to our CEO to chair the rest of the meeting.
Good morning, everyone. Good to see you here. I should start by saying Assalamu alaikum, Sat Sri Akal, Namaste, Namaskar, Jumbo, and all the other greetings that make you feel welcome, and to represent the diverse community that we have in Croydon. So I think I kind of know 90% of the people in the room because I've been around to say hello to people. But if you don't know me, my name's Ima Miah. I'm the CEO of the Asian Resource Centre of Croydon, and I want to welcome you to our AGM 2023. Would it be British enough if I again mentioned the weather? Yeah, thank you for coming out. It really was, last year was terrible because we had all the snow, but this year, we're used to the rain, aren't we? So thank you. Now, despite the weather and the seasonal flu, I am so glad that so many of us could get together. And do you know what makes me even, it's humbling when I walked around and I've seen so many members of the community come out. We take for granted that our partners, our business partners, our VCS leaders, our politicians will come because they have their stakeholders, their vested interest. But to see so many members of the community come out, that's truly humbling, and that shows the connection that perhaps we're having within the community. So thank you, especially to my community members who come out today to hear about the work that we're doing, and we are accountable to you as a charity. So I did this last year and it worked quite well. I'm going to try it again this year. I'm going to do a quick random poll. Please don't read anything into it. It is so random that I picked it last night. How many of you would give up your job if you won 100k in the lottery? Can I have a show of hands? How many? I'm not going to tell you why I'm laughing. Okay, I'm going to ask that question again. How many of you would give up your day job if you won 100k in the lottery? 150, 150, 200, 250, 500, a million. Mr. Mayor, let it be known that Croydonians wouldn't even give up their day jobs for £1 million. That's brilliant. Well done. Give yourselves a round of applause, guys. That is integrity. Well done. I wouldn't, by the way. Not even for £1 million. Jokes aside, at the beginning of the meeting, thank you, Ash, for introducing everyone. And we did the little clip thing to get people settling down, but it was pin drop silence right from the minute Ash said hello, so that's pretty impressive. But you saw some slides at the beginning, and I think they were kind of just to show you what a tremendous year of delivery we really have. If you're involved in a particular project or you're funding a particular project, it's hard to see the rest of the work that we do. And stats like that just bring together just how much hard work has gone in. So I'm just going to repeat a couple of those stats just in case you missed them, because I know they moved on quite quickly. So through our cancer awareness program, and I know Sophie, you're here, thank you so much for coming, and Sophie's one of the funders from RM Partners who's come down all the way from Catford, which isn't yeah. See, last night when I thought you might come, I was going to say she's come all the way from the East Coast or something like that, but it's Catford. But thank you nonetheless. Through our cancer awareness project, we've had over 1,000 conversations within the community. It's a taboo topic, isn't it, within our community? You know yourselves that, if you're Asian. And so to have those 1,000 conversations or more than that is pretty impressive, and it has raised awareness within our community, because we do get phone calls asking about cancer nowadays. And through our small grants programme, Mr. Mayor, you'll be interested to know that we funded, thanks to the council, we funded over 20 grassroots organisations to do really important COVID work. Bear in mind that this is last year's age. It's 2022-23, and we're so late into 23, so forgive me that it sounds a little bit past tense. And throughout the borough, through our long-term conditions project, which is one of the projects that have been highlighted today to be presented to you, we carried out over 800 health checks within the community. So 800 people are better aware of their health situation in Croydon, thanks to the work that colleagues like Amjid and others are doing. And our Hair to Talk project has trained over 140 accredited mental health first aiders. So, and that's great, isn't it? Because mental health is such an important topic right now. If there is another pandemic, then it's probably mental health right now. And we've got 140 people more who can have those conversations in a safe way, and they're accredited to do so. Before we go into AGM business, you've had the introduction, but well, actually, before we even go into the next bit that I was going to say, let me say hello to a few people, because I've seen some faces that I do need to acknowledge. I can see Andrew Selleck, you're here, thank you so much for coming. I can see Anne behind you, who's one of our partners on the Care Home Connectors project, thank you for coming. Councillor Humayun Kabir, who's always been a massive supporter of ARCC, and I don't think we've done an AGM without you here, sir, so thank you so much for coming along. Councillor Yvette Hopley, who's here, thank you so much. And of course, we've got Mr. Mayor here right at the front, who will be giving his address fairly shortly. Thank you so much for coming. We've got Abigail from our AMRO partners. Yes, AMRO Partners, who's here. Thank you so much for coming. And who else? Leanne Bob, thank you for coming. Leanne's one of our funders from the council. We've got Dawn and we've got Annette, who I have worked so closely with this year from the project management team at the One Croydon Alliance. Thank you so much, Dawn and Annette, for coming along. If I've missed you, I'm so sorry. I'm literally, I think it's age catching up with me because I can't see everybody's a bit of a blur at the moment. So if I have missed you, I appreciate you coming and thank you. And sorry I haven't read out your name. So before we do go into AGM business, it would be only fitting to acknowledge that we're living at a time of immense global conflict and instability, both at home and abroad. And to honour all the innocent lives lost, I would like us all to take a moment to pay respects in your own way, however that is, to all the lives that are lost. And let's hope that a peaceful resolution is found soon. So if we can just take a minute or so just of silence. Thank you for that. And back to our own shores, I hear the Big C is back, but nobody expected that, if you know what I'm talking about, when he walked out of the car at 10 Downing Street. I bet nobody is expecting back that appointment, but let's see how that pans out. No, not even looking at you. The Big C and the Big B. We will now start the formal part of the meeting, and without further ado, I should invite our chair, Mr. J. Patel, to give the chair's address. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Everyone can hear me?
Yes.
Good. Thank you very much on behalf of ARCC for taking time to attend our AGM today. I really appreciate it. We have quite a few community members here. And just to let you guys know, the community members come to our events basically to enjoy the food. But apart from that, I'm also grateful that they engage with our services, the things we do for them. So thank you for coming to the AGM today. I must admit, 2023 has been a very challenging year, and whilst at the same time we have achieved what we set out to achieve, not only has the organization achieved its growth target, but we have also ensured that the organization has a sustainable future. For that, I would like to thank all my fellow trustees, our senior management staff, our project delivery staff, and not to forget all of our community members who engage with us for the support they need and deserve from us. There has been so much guidance to wade through as we take on more and more projects to deliver, especially when they relate to health and well-being. Changes must be managed, and decisions have to be taken very quickly and effectively. Overall, we have aimed to maintain a consistent and outstanding provision of support to our community members and ensure that we remain sustainable for the future generations of our community members. So what are the highlights for year 2022-2023? To be honest, it was another action-packed year as the new post-COVID normal began to take shape. Will it ever get back to normal life again? I don't believe it. I'm not convinced. On the other hand, what COVID has done has encouraged us all to reconsider and innovate in our ways of working. And I don't know about you guys, but it definitely has changed my working pattern in terms of how I work from home. It's far more efficient, far more effective, and I can get a lot done. With that background, I just want to also briefly reflect on the operating environment that we began with. The year started with a very uncertain external environment, and both in terms of politically and also financially. The pandemic may have receded, but it remains a threat in many places. The economic consequences on a global economy where all over the world the businesses and the households are dealing with energy shortages, record prices, uncertain market, and the supply chain disruption with widespread inflation as well. We also have a threat of climate change that has not gone away, and we experience more and more tragedy in terms of flooding, forest fires, and rising temperatures. In these circumstances, the organization is being called upon to provide a wide range of support to our communities. The expectations from the funding organizations have increased. The need to manage the cost and deliver the services not only effectively, but efficiently as well, is getting tougher by the day. So I'm proud to say that ARCC continues to perform and deliver our services safely under some of these difficult conditions that we currently face. Our income has increased by 45% last year. There's not many organizations out there that can be as proud as we are to grow the income by 45% over the previous year. We have managed to reach over 13,500 community members who have engaged with us over that year, and that is an increase of another 33% from the previous year. So we are getting and reaching out to more community members with more services, more project delivery. Some of that you saw in the initial slideshow at the beginning. This leads me to cover the second point which I wish to make. Despite our performance, we've had to deal with transformation. I recommended this very briefly at the last AGM. ARCC is currently facing a transformation program into an organization that is just a little bit more than a traditional charity is. A traditional charity, what I mean by it, is basically looking after the culture, the language, the social activities, and so on. We are more than that now. And that has required a transformation, which I'm proud to say we're beginning to bring different skill sets, and I'll be announcing the 4 new trustees that have recently been recruited. And the reason for that is we wanted to bring the skill set that helps us to achieve that transformation program. Our projects are geared towards keeping our community members happy, help them to live longer and healthier life, and we have been called upon to reach out to the most vulnerable in our society, those that face real hardship, like mental health issues, cancer, and long-term medical conditions. To continue this transformation program from what we were 5 years ago to what we are now perceived as by the stakeholders has been a difficult challenge. But I'm pleased to say that with the support of my fellow trustees and our senior management staff, we have remained resilient as a group. We are facing this challenge ourselves without any external support. I know there is a long way to go, but the confidence and the expertise and the experience to meet this challenge as we move forward is there. And my third point is collaboration and partnership working with business community. Having successfully launched ARCC Business Forum 2 years ago, I'm proud to say that we have now got about 35 businesses that have come forward who want to engage with our community members. They want to be part of ARCC in terms of supporting us for what we do. And that was quite evident in terms of the recent event that we organized, the Navratri event, which was attended by about 1,200 people in this venue. And 15 of those businesses came forward and supported us by donating some sponsorship money, AMRO being one of them. So I'm proud to say that as far as I'm concerned, yes, it has been a very successful year. There are challenges moving forward, but I can assure you that we will meet them because we have the passion and the dedication to do it. Okay, so can I just take a few minutes to introduce the 4 new trustees, if I can ask them to come forward? Just say your name and your little bit of background.
Sure. Hello everyone, good morning. I'm so happy and humbled to be here. My name's Hannah Patel. I grew up in Thornton Heath and I said to my mum I would never come back again. And then 4 years ago, I bought a house on Christian Fields, which is sadly still in the borough of Croydon. I almost didn't sign the completion documents. I said to my husband, no, we live in Lambeth. We don't live in Croydon. But that's just by the by. So so I live in Croydon. I have 2 little people who are 4 and 3. And one of the reasons I applied for this role, I'm an NHS GP with a passion for mental health. I work locally. My little people are 4 and 3, as I've said, and I thought, what better way to teach them about the community, to have ownership of, the problems that Jay mentioned they're going to be facing in the future, so chronic health disease, long-term conditions, the environment, then show them that I'm doing this. And I had a conversation with our CEO after our interview, and she said, that's the reason that she got into it. So I'm hoping that will be effective and help with all the experience that I bring. So thank you so much. I'd love to meet you all today. Thank you.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Sabina Khan. I'd like to thank you all for this opportunity to be a member of ARC and the wonderful achievements of the community. I've been part of a community and service back in West London for the last few years, and now I'm part of South West London in the last 5 years. Some of the things that I'm really passionate about and really wish to evoke with ARCC is the mental health and wellbeing, which is something which is very close to my heart, having been an LPA for my mother, part caregiver, dealing with her issues on mental health, which is very much stigmatized in our community at the moment. And having been part of that whole journey, I've had to change my own beliefs and practices, and I retrained in holistic wellness practices as a result of that. So I look forward to supporting you all. I look forward to the opportunity and working with this organisation. Thank you.
Hi, good morning. My name is Hussein. How should I start? I just want to meet Jay's expectations and thank you very much for making me a trustee. I really do hope I'm passionate about the environment and hopefully I can take it forward from business as well as environment's point of view.
Hello everyone, I'm Champion Riaz. I've lived in the Bala since 1980 and children have grown up here and my grandchildren have grown up here. So I've been here a long time. I'm part of other organisations as well and there was a small gap and Jay managed to nab me and Jay knows I've gone to a few other organisations but I'm very pleased to be here and help with the business side of things. Although I've been in education for the last 40 years, I also have been doing business with Jay since 2000, Jay, wasn't it? Yeah. At Tiger in Croydon, we used to run business events all those years ago. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jay. And finally, can I just invite Abigail from AMRO Partners to say a few words about the partnership collaboration that we have been discussing for the last year, and it has come to a fruition now. So, Abigail, you can say more about it.
Hello everyone, and thank you so much at Asian Resource Centre for inviting us here to speak. So as mentioned, my name is Abigail Heraty. I'm from AMRO Partners. AMRO Partners is a residential investor, developer and operator. And essentially what that means is we provide high quality new rental homes in London. We have sites in Sutton, Ealing, Kingston and Redbridge, and this will be our 5th investment in Croydon. And what I think makes us a little bit different is we really prioritise ESG and sustainability. So we want to bring forward the most sustainable developments, and that counts for Croydon as well. We also really focus on community engagement. So from the start, it's not just about plonking a new building in Croydon, it's actually about how do you get the community involved, how do you get them proud of what's coming forward. And we really want to see that every development does benefit the community, whether it's through local job opportunities or community space. So in December 2021, we acquired Croydon Park Hotel, and we've been working with the council for the last 2 years to bring forward a high quality design that everyone can be proud of. We submitted a planning application in March and it is due to be determined next Thursday, so at planning committee, so fingers crossed. But essentially that'll be 447 new homes. And when we started engaging with the local community, there was a real demand and request for community space. So we amended the design to provide 200 square metres of community space. But what we really wanted to make sure is we're not just providing community space that's going to go to waste. So we started engaging with community groups such as Asian Resource Centre and actually who the demand is, what do they need for this. And working with Jay this year, it's really exciting for what this space can be done. You've got a full programme of events that hopefully will be operational in a few years once we start on site. So we're really excited to be here in the partnership that we've started. So I hope next year we'll be back saying we're under construction and the programme is fully prepared. So thank you so much.
Thanks very much, Jay, for the chair's address. Can I just say that I'm really looking forward to you working with our newly appointed board, and I'm sure they will add some great value to the work of ARCC and help us in the coming chapter, because as a charity it's really important that we keep up with what's going on in our environment. And so having new skills on board is really important. And saying that, we did go through a process. I will just tell you a little bit about that process so that we're transparent and clear about how we do recruitment. So any good charity is governed by a good trustee board. And it's a constitutional requirement by the Charities Commission that we do have a board of trustees to set the strategic direction and develop our aims accordingly to our ambitions. And many of you will have seen that a trustee recruitment advert had gone out, and we were really taken back actually and impressed by the number of applications that we received. for people to join the trustee board, and we're recruited on the basis of meeting and greeting new people, interviewing them, looking at their CVs and their applications, and trying to fill the skills gap. At that point, I do have to acknowledge that we are saying goodbye to a couple of trustees, and that's due to personal circumstances. In fact, one of our trustees who's been with us for several years, she said to me that she's got her own business now and got really, really busy doing her own business, and she gave up everything else and left ARCC till last, which just shows the commitment that people have. So we do acknowledge the contributions of Dimple Sidpura and Bhupendra Bhadwaj, who was with us right from the beginning, in fact, as a member. So we say thank you to them and goodbye to them, and hopefully they'll come back at some stage. Now, and thank you, Abigail, for telling us about the partnership. You would have seen a press release that had gone out from AMRO Partners and ARCC, and we're really excited about this new partnership and hope that we can give a thriving new space in Croydon for communities. And also it really does help ARCC, the contribution actually, for us to pump more core monies into the organisation to be able to do a lot of the good work that you're seeing today. Again, welcome to our new trustees. Now, moving on with the agenda, we've got our first guest speaker. He absolutely needs no introduction. He holds the top job in the borough, and the unenviable task, I'm setting you up here, Anna, the unenviable task of leading Croydon through a cost of living crisis. Ordinarily, he should be a hard man to get hold of, and I'm sure he is, but I have always received a very prompt and warm response from him, for which I'm grateful, Mr. Mayor. Thank you very much. In fact, I know you had to jiggle and nudge a few diary appointments to make it here today, which I think is proof of his support and interest in the Asian community and ARCC. I'd like to invite our Mayor of Croydon, the Executive Mayor of Croydon, Jason Perry, on stage to talk about the Council's commitment to the Asian community and our strategic relationship with the Council. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much indeed, and thank you, Ima. So, salam, namaste. So it's wonderful to be here, and thank you to your chair, to your trustees, to your committee, to Ima, for all the work that you do. And as you walk up, you're wired for sound here, and it's all mod cons at the Asian Resource Centre. So it's just wonderful to be here. As I say, I am the first elected mayor of Croydon, a new role that was created back in May 22, and listening on, what you've been doing in the last year, kind of making me reflect on what I've been doing in the last year. And I think we've both been on some quite exciting journeys over that time. And it's sort of 18 months in for me, and still very much a work in progress, and still very much working at that journey of improvement for Croydon. But it's an absolute pleasure to be here. As Ima says, the diary had to be rearranged. I had a message from Ima saying, "You can't come to my AGM." I thought, well, that can't be right. So we changed the diary, and I'm very pleased that I am here today to be with you and to see the wonderful things that you're achieving as a community, as an organisation, and everything that you do. It's just remarkable what you've achieved, and Jay has covered this in his own address, 45% increase in income. So I think I might give Jay a call, see if he can come give us some advice down at the council as to where we get this extra 45% from. But that is an amazing achievement for this organisation to have that 45% increase in income. But also that reach as well, going out, over 13,000 community members reached by this organisation. That in itself is a huge achievement. And I'm full of admiration for the work that your trustees, your committee do, but all of you do as a community, overcoming the many challenges that we've already heard mentioned this morning, and really delivering that sustainable future for your community, for ARC, for Croydon. So a very impressive achievement indeed. And indeed, the annual report, the annual, literally, isn't it? You should produce this every Christmas, have it on sale in Smith's. But what's in here is just a huge array of achievements of the organisation, and really showing how you are so embedded in the community and delivering for your community, and that's really so important. And flicking through reminds me of the number of events I've attended during that time as well. And it's always a pleasure to come and support the work that you're doing. I think you alluded to that it's quite a challenging role that I have as the Mayor of Croydon, and I think we all know about the financial challenges that the council has, the debt burden that we carry, etc. And I think over the last year, a lot of work has gone into resetting relationships and how we work together. And really, I'd just like to thank Ima and Jay and the trustees for the way that they've embraced that changing relationship. You know, the council is not in a position to be issuing lots of grants and funds as it may have done in the past. And the council needs to operate in a different way and needs to operate more as a partner. And I'm very proud to be a partner with ARC and the work that you do. And as I say, you've really embraced that change, that move forward. You've gone more into health, your One Croydon Alliance work that you're doing, the mental health work that's already mentioned this morning. And it just highlights how a group can grow, you know, from adversity. Good things can come and good things grow. You know, you've changed the way you operate and you're moving forward and you're proving that it can be done differently. So my huge congratulations for the work that you're doing there. And although our financial position as a council is difficult, we are doing things differently. We're commissioning differently, so we are commissioning services, more services through the voluntary sector. We're looking at our social value as to how we can deliver more funding through social value, through the contracts that we have as a council, and also giving training around bid writing and things like that to help our voluntary sector groups. Having said that, I think perhaps ARC should be doing the bid writing training, because they're the ones that seem to be getting all the money in. So perhaps we'll hand that bit over to you. I mean, just a couple of the phenomenal things you do. Your delivery is incredible. The 800 health checks that you've done, the work on diabetes that you're doing, the work that you're doing with residents at the Brigstock Road Community Hub, the Sporting Memories Club, helping with dementia and all those difficult issues that many of us face. And your partnership working with BME Forum as well around MHIP, the Ethnicity and Mental Health Improvement Project. Really groundbreaking stuff that's making a real difference and delivering for residents across the borough. So really, I say it's a pleasure to be here today. I think the relationship we have is a very good relationship. It's a very a working relationship, a great partnership. The days of council telling people what to do and how to spend money is over. We work very much as partners and partners with health and our other statutory bodies such as police, etc. But I'd just like to finish with a huge thank you to you and all of you for everything that you're doing, for the innovative ways that you're working, for the difference you're bringing, the partnerships you're bringing. And I think we hear bad news about Croydon all the time, but there's a lot of good that goes on in Croydon. And this room epitomises the good that goes on in Croydon. And I think you really highlight what's good about Croydon. You highlight that there's hope in Croydon. You highlight that together we're going to restore pride in Croydon. So I very much look forward to continuing to work with you, and thank you for everything that you're doing to make Croydon the great place that we know it all is. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Mayor, and I hope you're going to stay for the yummy lunch that apparently everybody comes for. Thank you very much indeed, and for recognising and acknowledging the work that the ARCC does. Sometimes you can be so into doing work that you don't look back and see the achievements. So the AGM is a time for us to do that, and for the top man in the borough to recognise the work that we do. That's fantastic. And also you spoke about us navigating the financial challenges in an innovative way and working differently despite the challenges and the funding cuts. You also spoke about commissioning social value and the support that the council is providing the VCS, which I think is crucial at times like this. And I should mention that 80% of our projects are in partnership with other groups. So the way forward really is to work in partnership and recognising that you can't do everything alone, that when we work in partnership, things are basically more economic to do, and we can get a much wider reach, so the impact is also there. So thank you again, Mr. Mayor. So what I have to do is call our chair back again. So, and this time to take us through the formalities of the AGM and get the minutes approved. So if I could call back Mr. J. Patel, please.
The minutes of the last AGM are available on our website. I hope somebody within this audience has read the minutes of the last meeting. And my job now is to request somebody to propose and second the minutes so that we can get that approved. So you just have to raise your hand, by the way. If anybody raises the hand to propose the minute, Himayun Kabir. Can anyone second it, please? Thanks, Ghazala. Well, that's it. So the minutes have been approved.
Unfortunately, our secretary wasn't able to make it today due to work commitments. However, our vice chair is here, Mr. Ash Balakrishnan, who will present on behalf of the secretary.
Hi guys, nice to see you again. Just making sure you're all awake. Right, so I'm sure many of you have gone through our annual report on our website, highlighting the great achievements of ARCC over the past year. It's a great read. If you haven't read any of the Harry Potter books, it's just as good, if not better. Right? So I highly recommend that you go through it. If we could just bring it up on the screen, actually, we could just flick through the pages just to show you how it looks. It's quite comprehensive, and I was actually kind of surprised with the quality of our annual report, and I was kind of like, who's the designer, who's done this? And it was actually done in-house by our fantastic team. So I don't know where the talent comes from. It's Mamun. There you go. Let's give Mamun a little round of applause. So in the absence of the secretary, I just want to highlight a few of our achievements. I'm just going to read in his absence some of the stuff that he's mentioned in the report. So the journey of ARCC has been a testament to our collective commitment to advancing social and community betterment. Our progress has not been the result of any one individual's efforts, but rather the culmination of a dedicated team working in harmony. Our strategic milestone, the establishment of the ARCC Business Forum, stands as a testament to our mission's expanding impact. The doubling of its membership in the past year, alongside the generous support of our sponsors, underlines the growing recognition of our efforts within the community. And he's actually wrote a lot more, but I'd like to end on this last part that he wrote. Getting involved with a charity lets you really make a hands-on impact on our community's well-being. It's not just a great thing to do, it's also incredibly satisfying and rewarding. And I think he speaks on behalf of all of our trustees when he says that. So yeah, that's just a short summary from our Secretary's report.
Thank you very much, Ash, and for stepping in the last minute. Isn't it great when you've got a team who can take over in just a couple of hours' notice, which shows really that our vice chair is doing his job, to be frank. So next up is actually our treasurer's report, probably the most important part, I would say, of the AGM. And if I could invite our programme manager and our finance manager, Mamun and Deba, to come on stage and present the finance report this year.
As Ima said, on behalf of our treasurer, we are presenting the financial report for the year 22-23.
Good morning, everyone. Always a pleasure to present the finance update, and hopefully everyone can see the screen, and hopefully the technology will work. Just a note to say that the full accounts were on the ARCC website for the past couple of weeks. It's around 30 pages. I know some of you take great interest in reading and going through page by page. But what we'll do here this morning, or almost afternoon now, is just to go through a very high-level summary of the income and expenditure and look forward to the next financial year in terms of the finances. So if you just bear with me. Okay, so in terms of the total income for the year 2022-23, it was £905,554. Almost £1 million. We didn't quite get to £1 million this year, although we were hopeful that we would. But we'll see what the next year holds for us. So in terms of what that comprises of, if I can just show you a breakdown. So firstly, we received 149,866 from SWL ICS for our LTC, EPP and DOSA project. Almost 121,000 from One Croydon Alliance for our LVP mental health project. Just over 105,000 from LBC for the COVID vaccine champion. 96,552 from SWL NHS for the Care Home Connectors project. 83,295 from the RM partners for our cancer awareness project. 82,650 for our TNL Community Fund Croydon Community Development Partnership project. 54,797 from SWL ICS for our Core 20 Plus 5 Connectors program. 40,000 from LBC Community Fund for our Outcomes program. 39,000 again from LBC Community Fund for our infrastructure program, which is basically a program that supports other Asian VCS groups in the borough. 22,318 from One Croydon Allowance for the Community Facilitator project. 20,750 from SWL ICS for a hospital discharge project that we concluded recently. 17,850 from local trust. 17,000 from Croydon Health Services NHS Trust for our equality, diversity and inclusivity project. 9,426 from People's Health Trust for the Communities Chat program. And then 7,000 from SWL NHS for a women's fertility project. And then there was a combination of 38,563, which comprised of various other income sources. So the total income, as I said, for the year was £905,554.
Now I'm going through the total expenditure for the year is 710,574. The breakdown of this is management and admin cost. That's the biggest cost, 363,314. It comprises of employer cost of staff, including NI and pension. We got rent payable, donations paid, insurance, subscription, IT software and consumables. £263,018 for charitable activities. This consists of advertising, marketing, other project delivery, volunteer cost, refreshment, sessional workers, supervision, travel, facilitators and champions expenses, and other volunteers expenses. Other support cost is 30,225. This made up of depreciation, HR expenses, recruitment costs, legal and professional fees. 27,497 for general admin cost. This consists of venue hire, payroll cost, stationery, postage, printing, telephone and internet. Project delivery cost is 24,132. That consists of community events, meetings, community hub repairs, community hub utilities, training and training material. Governance cost 2,388, and this comprised of independent examiner's fee and bank charges. So total expenditure once again 710,574.
Yeah, so as I said, these are just very high level numbers. So if you are interested in the full accounts, please do visit our website. It's all there for you to look through. And if you do have any questions, please do get back to us on that. So the next slide is basically a comparison of the income over the last 5 years. This is just to show you the growth of the organization. As you can see, this year we have seen an unprecedented growth with the diversification of our income stream. So we're definitely heading in the right direction. I mean, if you look back at 2019, you will see our total income for the year was just over 358,000. And if we just skip a few years to now, it's at 905,000, almost $1 million. So it's a huge, huge achievement from the organization and the growth, and we're heading in the right direction. So thank you to all for your support, especially our funders. Without them, we would not be where we are.
We'll now go through the projected income for the next financial year, how it is looking like just right now. We don't know the future, but whatever we know, we just present a snapshot of that. So 173,981 is for our One Croydon Alliance LVP Here to Talk project, mental health project.
So these are just the income that we've secured or are projected to come in the next few months. And then 143,600 from NHS SWL ICB for our long-term conditions project.
88,852 SWL One Alliance, our MHIP project. This is a very new project for the ethnicity mental health improvement project. This is with partnership with BME Forum. So this is a partnership project, new project.
66,517 from Royal Marsden NHS Foundation Trust for our cancer awareness project.
43,392 for our SWL NHS Care Home Connector project. This is also a major project for this year.
Yeah, 40,540 from One Croydon Alliance for our community facilitator project.
40,000 from London Borough of Croydon for Employment and Enterprise Fund.
25,000 from AMRO Partners.
23,528 for our Navratri celebrations.
17,000 from Croydon Health Services NHS Trust for the EDI project.
13,000 for SWL ICB for Chronic Kidney Disease Research Project.
10,000 from Croydon Health Services NHS Trust for our maternity project.
170,000 from the National Lottery, the Croydon Community Development Project.
And 124,000 from various partnership bids that we're currently in.
So the total projected income for 2023-24 is just over $1 million. Isn't it fantastic? So thank you very much for all of your support, stakeholders, everyone, partners, everyone.
Yeah, so that concludes the finance update. So thank you for listening. Hopefully it was engaging and interactive for you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much for everyone's attention.
These two people that worked so incredibly hard to make this event happen, in particular Mamun with all the technology. I just saw Mr. Andrew Brown walk in. I have to acknowledge he's late. And you missed the fundamental part of how we're doing financially, mate. Andrew Brown is a very good friend of mine and also from the Croydon BME Forum. I should acknowledge him because the majority of our projects are in partnership with the Croydon BME Forum, and I also appreciate the work you do, sir, for the BME community alongside ARCC and others. So always appreciate your presence. And I should tell you, mate, that we're competing, but we're friends. And I'm disappointed you missed our accounts. So have a good read tonight. And Mr. Mayor, just in reflection to all of that, I absolutely hold you to the capacity building project, and that might bump us a little bit over the million mark next year. So congratulations to my team, because if you can't get hold of us, it would be because we're doing this, trying to bringing them into the borough and trying to do as much work as we can do on the front line. Okay, so we need to do some formalities now. So I will ask the chair to go through another adoption of the annual accounts 2022-23. So Jay, if you could do that for us.
Thanks. Hi. Another formality again. I'd like someone to propose our accounts so that they can be accepted, and also then someone else to second it for me. So Tamkin Riaz and Hussein Kaur. Yep. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you very much. So our accounts have been adopted, and I should let you know that our independent examiners are Beck Williamson and Co, and we hope to continue working with them. I've just noticed Bernadette in the room. Thank you so much for coming, and such a keen supporter over so many years. You fell straight into my eye line. Thank you so much for coming along.
Can I just say to everybody that in 1987, when I was chair of social services, I called a meeting within the community. I had raised the issue of unmet needs in the community. So we got a group of people together that represented the community across the communities. And I was saying, we need an Asian resource centre in this park. That was in 1987. And I am so delighted to hear the outcomes for your organisation today. It was very clear to me in 1987 there were huge unmet needs in the Asian communities in Croydon. And I was more ambitious. I actually wanted them to have their own building. I know you'll get to that.
Thank you so much. And as you know, Bernadette was a councillor for many years and the ex-mayor of Croydon as well. So, right, I feel like a bit of a stretch. We've been sitting down and talking at you for ages. Shall we try and break things up a little bit? I think it's a good time, actually, Gifty, for people to have a bit of a stretch, do you think? Yeah? Now, can I call my colleague Gifty up to the front, who's going to help us to kind of get our blood flowing again and get energized for the next part? Yeah. Gifty Najamal, who runs our expert patient program, is as a part of the program, we wanted to give you a little bit of a taster of what we do in the program. And so Gifty is going to do some exercises with you. And that's and this is what we do in the community to get people to get mobilized and manage their own health. Thank you so much, Gifty.
Thank you, Ima. That's a quick one. That was a surprise. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. How are we today? Good. Right. So the first thing I want to do is for you to check in front of you if you have a little bit of space just in front of you. If you don't, move your seat a little bit forward. Just put your leg down to make sure you can stretch it. Brilliant. Thank you. Amazing. Okay. So what I need you to do now is take a deep breath in and out. And place your hand on your thighs. Great. So what I'm trying to do now is so that, because we've been sitting for a while, before we could stand up, I need to make sure that your hips can carry you. Okay? All right. So if you just raise your leg, wait, and then you hold it, make sure your knees are straight, and then we count up to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Great. All right. Because we've got 2 legs, whatever we do on one leg, we've got to do it on the other leg. Okay? Right. So if we raise the second leg, and then we count up to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Great. So now we're going to stand up, if you can. Thank you. Bless you. Great, you're doing well. That's good. Okay, so I need us to shake us a little bit. And what I need you to do, if you can, only if you can. Right, I need you to raise your leg, your right leg. And what you're going to do, you're going to just move it a bit so that you could just open up your hips. Just a tiny bit, okay? Don't go too far. So you just open it up, and then you open the other leg. You've got 2 legs. So you've got to open one leg. I'm wearing a dress, so I'm not going to do so much. So, so you open the first. Okay, so we are going to say good morning to the sun now, if you can. So maybe if we do it, next year ARCC will do it in summer. Then we've completed winter. So it snowed last year, it rained today, and next year maybe it will be sunny. Okay, so we're going to say hi to the sun now. Right, so what I need you to do, I'm going to keep my, so if you raise the hand up, and then you stretch it up a bit, and then what I need you to do is to just to wave it to the sun, and then you start saying hello to the sun, and say thank you. Say well done for all, for everything. So hopefully we should get a sun next time. Okay, right. Okay, stretch your hands, and then down. Okay, great. So if you don't mind if you sit down, just for 1 second, I'm just going to wait for us to just breathe in a little bit, just for 1 minute. Okay. If you're comfortable, only if you're comfortable, you could close your eyes. And then after I want you to do, just close your eyes, take a deep breath in, breathe it all through, and then you breathe out. I just want you to release a little bit of the tension. So you breathe in again from your head, and then you breathe out. Take a deep breath in again, and out. Just want you to imagine you're sitting in a very sunny garden. The flowers are blooming. The breeze is fresh. Imagine a cool drink placed in front of you. The sun is hitting right in your face. The drink is cool on your arms. Think about the cocktail. Think about the cold juice. As you take a deep sip, it is refreshing. It is nice. It's comforting. It's quenching the thirst. You feel relaxed. You feel at peace. Think about all the achievements that you've accomplished. Think about all the success that we as a community, we have accomplished. Think about the people that we've fed. Think about the people that we've done their health checks. Think about that life that we have saved. And we are grateful for it. Just want you to imagine how much more we are going to do in the next coming year. Saving that girl, that woman, that boy from that illness. Making sure that they are aware of what they eat, what they drink, so that they could live another day. Take a deep breath in and out. And when you're comfortable, you could open your eyes. Thank you.
Bless her. I hugged Gifty because she had no idea she was doing that. and it was on the spot, just so that you know that we genuinely do this with people. And it's a brilliant program. We get some of the best feedback. from the expert patient program, because it's a journey we go on with people in managing their health for 6 weeks. We're with them, training them and coaching them on self-management techniques, because we believe prevention is better than cure. And if we can catch it early, if we can help people manage those symptoms, then they stay out of hospital and they stay out of GP surgeries. And that's economically beneficial as well. So it's really worth investing in prevention. Now that Gifty's relaxed you all, it's really a bit cheating. I did it so that she would put you all in the mode for my report, which is next. So it's actually time for the CEO report. And I would say just bear in mind that I'm speaking as if we were in 2022 and 23 and not the current year. So some things have progressed. And Bernadette, you'll be really glad to know that we have progressed in terms of a community space as well, and that the dreams of an Asian Resource Centre may actually be realised very, very soon. So this year has been largely focused on recovery and bringing services back to a pre-COVID state, as our chair had said earlier. Staff had largely been working from home for the first part of the year, and we've been working really, really hard to try and bring services back face to face. Our members, the ARCC members, have benefited from many new opportunities developed through our newly formed partnership with the NHS. And we've also forged stronger partnerships with VCS colleagues, and almost half our, well, I say half, actually that's progressed to about 80% of our projects are in partnership with other local charities. I know I didn't acknowledge you earlier, but and thank you to Age UK for the work that we do together in partnership as well. I did notice you were there. Our membership reach has continued to grow, and the organisation's income sources are more diverse than ever. When I stood here a couple of years back, and I can see Yaron Allen sitting in the back, who used to work for the council as one of the commissioning managers. And Yaron, you may remember that we spoke about diversifying income and making sure that charities aren't reliant on one source, that the council wasn't the only source of income that we should be reliant on. And building relationships is really important when you're trying to diversify. Sometimes it can take years of building a relationship before it materializes into actual income. So my advice to any charity would be focus on relationships, focus on diversifying your income, and don't put all your eggs in one basket, because it's a major shocker when that depletes. Our membership has continued to grow despite COVID. We lost many during COVID, and we lost some of our members during COVID, but we're really glad that other people are coming into the partnership, and I've seen so many faces that I remember pre-COVID that have come along to show their support. Our income sources have grown, as you can see, and we are setting up new innovative practices to service development, and we are looking at the needs of communities continuously as we develop our services. There have been several challenges. I have to acknowledge those. One of those has been a growing team, and the projects having limited core resources to support that team. So a charity needs core resources to be able to function and do all of this stuff. So whilst our projects have been expanding, the core resources haven't necessarily, and that's been quite a difficult challenge for me to keep telling funders that we need some money to run the organisation as well. So we recognise that as a result of the growth that we need a bigger office space, and the organisation was at that time looking into several properties options to accommodate the bigger staff team and deliver our services from. I'm really pleased to announce this year that we have secured a space, and I'd say thank you to Mr. Mayor as well for your support in that, and many people in the community who supported our cause of getting a space. I will do the announcements in a press release once that has been fully signed and sealed. So I've lost my track now. I need to go back into, so a few of our major programs will enter into the last phase. This is again talking pre because it has come to an end. One of those was the community fund, but we are working in a new and different way with the council now. So we still value the partnership very, very much. So, and we are looking continuously at different sources of funding. You would have seen the next year's funding. A lot of it is already secured, but a lot of it's in the pipeline. So we're trying to get more in so that we can at least sustain the levels we've got right now. So as a part of our strategic planning, ARCC has aligned its delivery to local strategic landscape, financial projections, and more importantly, to community needs. We've identified several key priorities that are being actively sought. The first is a building and securing good partnerships with health, the council and the VCS. Second is securing a resource centre for community benefit and income generation, and thank you again, AMRO, in supporting us to do this. The third is aligning our delivery to localities working to address health needs and disparities in the borough and for BME groups and in particular Asian communities. And the fourth is engaging with businesses to enable CSR and local economic benefit. And I know we've got a few businessmen in the room, including AMRO actually, who've put their money where their mouth is and are showing what real CSR can look like. As we're drawing closer to the end of the community fund, I should say that the council's financial position will have had an impact as a whole in the whole of Croydon, all the VCS organisations, and we're not immune to the effects of that internally, but we are finding mitigations for us and our member organisations to reduce the impact. We've put in several funding applications and they're on their way. Our business forum is being strengthened up and our properties for our community centres are being considered. So we're deeply embedded in the work of the One Croydon Alliance. I know a few Croydon Alliance members are here today and I'm waiting on our next speaker to park up basically, who is actually from the Alliance. And we're one of the leading organisations trying to bring more money into the VCS and more resources into the VCS, and the One Croydon Alliance is a fantastic vehicle to be able to do that. We're in regular dialogue with the council and health partners to keep an eye on the financial situation by supporting and advising as well as challenging and lobbying where we feel community voices need to be heard. I'd lastly like to take the opportunity to thank my team for all the hard work and the dedication of the past year. They've worked tirelessly to ensure we provide and maintain high level of delivery to the community. I'd also like to thank our board of trustees, especially our chair, who's sitting here, Mr. J. Patel, for his selfless dedication and vision for the organisation to bring it to where it is today. The fact that you're all clapping for Jay just shows how active he has been. I know many charities where people don't know who the chair is and they don't get out that much, but Jay is an absolute star, I have to say. And it makes my life as a CEO really much easier when you've got an active chair, somebody who spends so much time of his own time, because our board are full of volunteers and they give us just so much time to further our cause. So thank you personally from me, Jay. I'd like to personally thank our funders. We've got some of our funders in the room, and as I say, I'm expecting another one to come along very soon to speak. And it is your belief in us, your investment in us, that can help us to help others. And I wrote down something, Mr. Mayor, that you said earlier on that resonates, that in times of adversity, that we can do some great things. And I think that's what we've shown as a small community group, that in times of adversity, we're thriving as a voluntary sector, and that is what is possible if you stay on focus and you work with others. I must also thank the community for all the support and the positive feedback we are continuously receiving for our work. Your words don't go unnoticed. We do hear what you say, and I encouraged some of our community members today to raise an issue that they wanted that they were all asking me about this morning. I said, no, in the AOB, please say it, because that makes us commit to it. And so I encourage you to speak and tell us what you think, and you do. And I hear it all the time, and thank you for all the feedback. And mostly it's really, really, I would say really encouraging and very, very good feedback that we get. If I can say the final thank you again to my staff, every single one of you who is here today and those of you who aren't, none of this would happen. I wouldn't be standing here shouting out big words if you didn't do the work that you do and you didn't put the hard work that you do. Everybody in ARCC works with autonomy. Everybody leads a project, leads a, and this is above and beyond what their job description says. Everybody's here showing full support, and we have a harmonious team, which makes the job of a leader really, really easy, I must say. So can I just say thank you to every single member of my staff team and the volunteers for your selfless and dedication and your hard work for this organisation. I notice everything. And for me, I look forward to another exciting year of ARCC. Hopefully upwards we go, and if we don't, then there'll be a good reason for it. I'm hoping I'm not going to be the one that reports that. But yeah, another exciting year ahead. And you know, I've lengthened my speech as long as I can because I was trying to give Hilary more time to come in to the room while she's parking up. But what I'm going to do is actually ask one of our projects. So we're going to swap the agenda a very tiny bit to give time for Hilary and Joe to come in. So we'll move on to some project updates. We'll show you what we've been up to over the past year through one of our projects, and it's actually time for our Equality, Diversity and Inclusivity project. So I'd like to invite Mr. Amjid Rahman, who's our EDI Researcher, Community Facilitator, to give a brief presentation on our EDI project. And I should also say Amjid does multiple jobs. He's also our long-term conditions project manager too.
Hi, hello everyone. My name's Amjid Rahman. I wasn't expecting to be here right now, but it seems to be the agenda of the day. Right, okay. So my name's Amjid. I see a lot of familiar faces here because a lot of you probably know me from doing health checks, and I get various names: the health check man, the blood pressure man. But I also have another hat where I do a research project called the Croydon Equality, Diversity and Inclusion Project, and I've got a number of eyes at me because I've got both my supervisors watching here. I was kind of relieved when Andrew wasn't here earlier, but he showed up too. So. Oh, sorry. Yeah. First of all, it's based in Croydon. So it's only in Croydon that we're doing this project. And why are we choosing Croydon? So we all live in Croydon. We know what it's about. And there's a lot of health inequalities in Croydon that we've found. And that's really what the NHS want us to investigate. And those health inequalities exist amongst a lot of ethnic and other marginalised communities. So why is that important for us in Croydon? Well, first of all, it's the most populous borough in London now. It's just over 390,000. Yeah, 390,000 people. And the other thing is, like I said, the health inequalities exist amongst ethnic minorities and other marginalised groups. The ethnic profile in Croydon now is majority ethnic. So those marginalised groups and ethnic minorities make up the majority of the population. And so those health inequalities cause a major burden on society. Within Croydon, yeah, those are more people that are potentially off sick, not maybe not earning, not making any money, or not taking part in society, and so addressing these helps improve the social and economic value that they provide to the borough. So what we're trying to do is we're going to find out, the whole purpose of it is to find out what those health inequalities are, find out why those health inequalities exist, and also try to understand where they've come from and try to overcome them. So how are we going to do that? So we do that by producing, the way that we've done that so far is we produce surveys, and those surveys will have qualitative and quantitative data. We've already approached over 1,000 people with those surveys, and the outcomes of those surveys have produced a number of questions that we can answer. And those questions are going forward towards are currently going forward to focus groups, where we're trying to tease out what the real issues are. So the surveys have come back with a number of barriers that people have to accessing healthcare, which causes health inequalities, and one of them is not being able to get access to GPs and referring themselves to other services like local pharmacies, having trouble paying for healthcare. For example, when you're talking about opticians or dentists, and the other part of the project where people aren't engaging in health research, a lot of people don't understand where you can take part in health research, or they don't understand health research and what it actually entails. So they're the kind of questions we're teasing out at the moment through our surveys, through our focus groups. Then following that, we have them take part in one-to-one or small group interviews where we find out even further what their personal experiences are, if they've got lived experiences that they want to share, and then take those case studies back to our funders and look at a plan on how we can prevent this happening in the future. So what are the challenges that we faced? So largely, being an Asian, being a charity in the Asian community, we have a lot of resources available to us within the Asian community. And so accessing the people wasn't so much of an issue. It was more about getting people to trust you enough in order to answer the questions. So when you're talking about things like being able to afford healthcare, that's always a touchy subject, and it's not something that people want to open up about. Also, when you have subjects like saying something negative about the NHS or saying something negative about your GP, that's also quite a touchy subject. In particular, when in particular in the Asian community, people of statuses like doctors and stuff are put in quite high regard, and so generally everything that's said about them is positive. So having to take the time to spend time with those people and teasing out the information, teasing out their actual experiences has been a challenge. Despite that, we have. Sorry, can we go back? Sorry. Despite that, we have done those. We have distributed those 1,000 surveys and had those conversations with those people, and we are currently going through the process of carrying out those focus groups. So, next steps. So we still have focus groups to do. Then following that, like I said earlier on, we are going to be carrying out those interviews and then case studies with individuals or small groups of people to find out their lived experiences. And then we'll be producing a report with recommendations on what needs to be done going forward. Now, largely, we believe that's going to be, the recommendations are going to be like a two-pronged approach. I think there's going to be some awareness raising done on both sides, from the side of the NHS and healthcare providers, and for the community members about understanding where to get information, and maybe sometimes misinterpretation of the intentions of healthcare providers. You know, but we've had a number of instances where healthcare providers have been providing advice on their best intentions, but it's been misinterpreted by the people receiving it. And that's it. Okay.
For a guy who didn't know he was coming up, he had a few slides ready, so well done.
No, I didn't know I was coming on then. Sorry.
Okay, so Hilary is here now, but just before we bring you on, Hilary, just to give you a little bit of time to settle in, what I'll do is actually bring on our next project update. Please feel free to get some tea and coffee so that.
I'm fine. I don't want to fuss, mate.
Good stuff.
I slipped in really discreetly then.
No problem at all. It's a double act. If I could ask our community facilitators, Nasreen, Syeda and Mariah to come on stage and talk about our community facilitation project. Oh, definitely a lot more people.
So good afternoon, everyone. I'm Nasreen. I'm joined by Mariah, and we're the community facilitators for this project. Before we get into more detail here, I thought it would be nice to show a short introductory clip by the King's Fund, who came and filmed the community hub in the summer. So yeah, if we could get started. Just to introduce the project, Community Hubs, a part of the One Croydon Alliance's Healthy Communities Together programme, and they're set up to provide residents with more local and accessible pathways into social support, networks, community-led activities, and specialist voluntary and statutory services. So they form part of, a lot of what we've been talking about here today, the early intervention, preventative approach. It's being used across the Croydon localities. So what we're introducing today is the Brigstock Road Community Hub. It supports residents in the north of Croydon, and it's led by ARCC's community facilitators and supported by wider staff, volunteers and partners. The hub is located in Age UK's Scratchley Hall. It's open every Mondays 10 to 1 o'clock. So the idea of the hubs is that local residents are encouraged to drop in for a tea and a chat and to speak to different members of the hub team for any support and information they might need. So residents, what they can expect when they come is a listening ear, and they're supported to identify outcomes and agree any next steps that to achieve these. So where appropriate, we find that they're offered signposting into other services and organisations for more specialised or specialist support. Since launching last September last year, the hub has supported over 1,000 residents, and I remember standing here actually last year, and it was soon after the launch, and I think it was sort of near 150 residents. But so it just shows it continues to be an important provision for the local community. People hear about the hub now through a range of sources, mostly via referrals from the GP practices, voluntary community sector organisations who are all linked in, and word of mouth, since it's quite well known now and established in the area. So that's really nice to see. Well over half the residents, when we asked them, actually said, they wouldn't know where else to go, or indeed go anywhere for support if there wasn't the community hub. If there wasn't the community hub there in the locality. And over 90% of residents have said they've received the support that they came for and would recommend the hub to friends and family. So that's always a really good indication of, how relevant the hub is and important to the community. I'll hand over to Mariah to talk a bit more about the impact the hub has made to residents and in strengthening collaborative working and partnerships.
Thank you. Hi everyone, my name is Mariah. I'm the community facilitator and connector for ARCC. I run the hub every Monday from 10 to 1 alongside Shami and Nasreen in the background. Thank you. So the hub is, The hub includes a core team of 15 support services from the voluntary sector, the community statutory and health sectors as well. We provide regular face-to-face support every week. 80% of the support services are from VCS organisations, so it is predominantly community-led. There are around 40 services connected with the hub overall, with an established two-way partnership working, which is growing every week at a really fast pace. Some of the regular support services you can see on the screen, so Croydon Healthy Homes, Alzheimer's Society, Citizens Advice, they do get really busy, especially Citizens Advice and Housing. In addition, the engagement via the hub has helped to strengthen partnership working. For example, we have Croydon Hearing and Brigstock Road Medical Practice, who delivered a workshop on hearing health at Croydon Mosque. There was also Croydon Vision, who did site tests at the Rainbow Health Centre and delivered a health and wellbeing session. I got a nice quote from St Christopher's Hospice, and they mentioned that the community hub has helped us to reach into a ward of Croydon which has multiple health inequalities. It has resulted in us being able to be there and to listen, to help and service the community's needs. At the hub, at the end of each month, we have a talk session. The talk sessions have been widely received. We have sessions on bereavement, occupational therapy, counselling. We've had hypertension from Amjid, which was really well received as well. They're really good interactive sessions for the residents to sort of ask any questions and just to get involved and just to sort of raise awareness as to what we really do. On the screen we have a few feedback quotes. I'll just read them out for anyone that can't see. So this is Vanessa from Croydon Hearing, and she said, "Since attending the community hub, we have been able to access a wider variety of groups than ever before. We've been able to bring an awareness of hearing health deeper into the community and remove some of the barriers that people may experience to access health services." Ceylon was a resident that I met at the hub. He said, "I live about a mile away from here. I was struggling to get help for so many years, and I have seen so many organisations. This is 100% very helpful and very supportive. Today I needed help with utility bills, and it was clear. So I'm very happy. I will come again. I'm registered blind. Thank you so much." And there was another lady called Danielle who was a volunteer for us at the hub, and she gave a quote saying, "Service users have informed me that they feel that the service is very valuable to them because there are no other places in Croydon where they feel able to go to at the moment for support. It is very friendly and welcoming." Sorry, I'm having to read my notes off my phone. I did have my notes. Somebody accidentally nicked them, and I got them back in pieces, so thank you. So just bear with me. It was an accident, it wasn't malicious. Yeah, so that was some good feedback. So overall, the Brigstock Community Hub has been a real success. We've been open for about just over a year now. We're involved in several articles and videos, which showcases just the amount of impact that we are having. It's great to personally be at the hub and have residents come up to me and personally thank me, even though I'm not the one doing much, I'm just kind of facilitating it. But the service providers are really helpful to many residents, and we have many change stories and success stories. The support and provision at the community hub continues to grow from strength to strength, frequenting on average 40 residents each week. We are kind of at capacity. It gets a bit hard to manage, but we're constantly looking for ways to improve and manage the hub. So what's next? Since our launch, the facilitators have been supporting a new community hub, which is the Woodside Community Hub in the Central East locality, and that's open every Tuesdays from 1:30 to 3:30. Please do pop in. I would say please do come to the hub. It's great to talk about it, but I think it's different when you come and see it in person. So please do come to the Brickstock Hub or the Woodside Hub, or ask me and Nasreen any further questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maria and Nasreen, for taking us through. And sorry, wouldn't be an event without a technical failure. So if you were ever worried that computers were going to take over, don't worry about it. We're fine. We're human beings are absolutely fine for now. So next up, we've got another, our final guest speaker, and food. I can smell it already, which is making me really hungry. So I'm hoping all of you are going to stay to eat with us. Next up is our guest speaker, an important strategic partner for ARCC. And first of all, I've got a little story to tell you. Sorry, Hilary, I have a little story to tell you. Some of you might be familiar with names like Rachel Flagg, who was the Director of Transformation at the Alliance, and Neil Goulburn, who spoke at our AGM last year. He was the Chief of Staff, I believe. They were both keen supporters of ARCC and unfortunately left for new pastures at some point last year. So when I heard they were leaving, I was really worried. Worried that we would lose the relationships that we had worked really hard to build, that we would lose the understanding that we had developed right at the top, and we would lose funding opportunities if senior leaders were not familiar with the work that we do. You might be thinking, crikey, she needs to take a chill pill, but actually they were legitimate worries from my perspective. And when I learned, and I would say I was pleasantly assured by the replacement, who is our next guest speaker. She's already proved that she understands, knows and appreciates the work of VCS organisations and ARCC within the borough. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to invite Hilary Williams, Interim Director of Transformation for SWL ICB CUH.
How overwhelming, I feel like crying. It's me all week.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm being mic'd up. Do I need this still, or can I use this? I'll use this. I'm really, really sorry that I'm so late. I'm going to blame the Croydon traffic and the rain and a very, very busy schedule that I've got. And I'm really sorry that I wasn't here for the majority of the event today. I am really, really honoured, and it's a real privilege to be able to come and speak with you about the amazing work that Ima and colleagues are doing. From a health perspective, we often get lots of strategy and lots of delivery and lots of things that we're expected to do. And it's really, really important that we do that with local communities. And Asian Resource Centre Croydon is an absolutely fantastic community asset that we need to embrace and celebrate. And you should be really, really proud of what you've achieved. It's not about slides, and it's not about saying this is what we've done, because actually what really happens is the lives that people touch through the programs of work. So I really wanted to kind of say that right from the outset as we go through our slides, and I can just showcase and I have a phrase, name and shine rather than name and shame. And it's about naming and shining today some of the fantastic work that ARCC have been involved in and helping and delivering in the health space. So if I can go to my next slide, you don't need to be told about some of the facts and figures about Croydon, but I always want to shout about them, because when we work in southwest London, we know that Croydon is a really unique place. And there's fantastic opportunity here, and there's some real challenge here. And what I'm really keen to do is to kind of highlight some of the uniqueness around Croydon and how we need to work with our community partners to be able to progress and develop and enhance services around health within the borough. We know that One Croydon Alliance is a really important vehicle to be able to do that, where we're working with statutory organisations, but absolutely making sure that we've got voluntary and community services at the heart of what we're doing as well. And I would like to kind of acknowledge that there are a number of colleagues in the room here today who are part of that One Croydon Alliance and have worked tirelessly to make the progress that we've been able to do. So thank you, colleagues, you know who you are. If we go to the next slide. This is my day job. So I am the director for Croydon Place. And I have a joint role, as Ima's described, where I work both within Croydon Health Services, but also within the Integrated Care Board for South West London. And we have these things called place delivery agreements. So this is kind of, if you like, what I need to deliver on and what I need to help us as a borough achieve. So there are 4 kind of parts to the Croydon Place delivery agreement. One is around joining up healthcare and health and care so that it's modern and it's fit for purpose. One is about proactively supporting people that are at risk of being left behind. And it was really lovely to hear the work around the community hub and thinking about how potentially some people accessing the hub are people that could be left behind were it not for that signposting, that resource and that navigation. Really important and really clear focus on prevention and primary care network development and neighbourhood development. And that's not about always going to see your GP, but making sure that we've got neighbourhoods and networks around us where we are potentially accessing care. So they're the 4 things, if you like, that guide my work. And some of the priorities are listed there. Obviously, it's about making sure that we've got financial balance, making sure that we're working in a really integrated way, that we are making sure that people are getting access to the care that they need at the right time. So that's often called system flow, so that people are moving through the system in the way that they should and aren't hitting barriers or obstacles. That we're optimising funding, we're making the best use of the money available and the resources available, and doing that in a really, really sensible and thought through and community informed way. Very much focusing on people who are delivering services and staff well-being and staff productivity. And also developing our workforce. And we've got some really lovely examples through the programs that you've been involved in where people are developing skills, developing networks, developing, and progressing. And that's a really key priority for us in Croydon. So when I think about Asian Resource Centre Croydon, I think about, all of the work that is happening to support the delivery of these place agreements. And this is by no means an exhaustive list, but I'm really mindful of the fact that I was meant to introduce and then the other bits were meant to come. So we're doing it a little bit retrospectively, but hey, I figure we're amongst friends and that people won't mind hearing about this again. So if we go to the next slide. So this is about working in partnership and building on the wonderful community asset that Asian Resource Centre is. So I know you've been doing a huge amount of work around long-term conditions. That the community hubs, we've heard the presentation. I hope we get to see the video because it's really heartwarming. And if not, then perhaps it can be sent through some kind of social media forum so that people can have an access to that because it's really wonderful. That should say mental health. So I know that Ima has been heavily involved in the programme with Andrew around the Ethnicity and Mental Health Improvement Programme, and very much thinking about how do we tailor services so that they are meaningful to people, and working very much in that preventative and that early help space, and building on some of our resources and the community connections that people already have to be able to deliver that. I'm really excited about the work around the care home coordinators and the work going on there. And then I just wanted to mention these two pieces that kind of linked for me, and I think this is where we often pick up the phone and say, how can we work collectively? How can we work collaboratively? So, the opportunities and the insights and the ground level up community engagement that will help shape things and help move things forward. And, what is it that local communities need? And a really good example of that is the work that Ima, I know colleagues, you've been working on around, thinking about immunisations and immunisation uptake, and chairing a number of meetings and a number of webinars to kind of really understand what some of the concerns and what some of the opportunities are to be able to do that. So for me, that's what working in partnership looks like. It's about the programmes, it's about the delivery, but actually it's around the people and the difference that I know that it will make to people's lives, and that is captured in that wonderful video around the community hubs. And I think that really is great. Can we move on to the next slide, please? I'm happy to answer any questions. I'm happy to answer them standing here with the microphone, but I'm going to be here for lunch. And the opportunity to network and communicate. But if we move to the next slide, I just wanted to say thank you for inviting me, but also for being such wonderful community assets and a wonderful group of partners. So thank you very much. It's a real privilege and a real honour to work alongside you.
Thank you so much, Hilary, for talking about developments around prevention, around proactive support, and indeed what partnership work looks like between charities and health. I think we've got so much work to do in this borough, but we are doing so much already. So it's great to see the work that's already going on and the impact we're having. So thank you again. Right, that's the end of the formal part of the AGM. And I do have to ask if there are any AOBs that members of the public or anybody wants to raise. So if there's any questions that you have for us, now's the time. I know Bernadette, if you'd like to say something. If we could get a mic to Bernadette, please.
Thank you. A concern I have, which is a growing concern, and it's certainly registered as inequality, is child poverty and homelessness. We need to be addressing it very seriously. And I have spent in the last 4 months time with 2 homeless mothers. One mother had 3 children, the other had a child. And I had to ask the mosque if they would house them overnight, because they were literally on the street. And I spent then the time negotiating, getting them accommodated. And if I see it, many, many more people see it, or many people in the neighbourhood know about it. And we need to address it. We mustn't leave it to the point where we then have social implications. When those children are in that situation, they lose out on education, they lose out on aspiration and everything else. And I really think, listening to your speaker on equality, I hope that included in that assessment and that research is also the issue of homelessness and child poverty in the communities. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brenda. And I don't think anyone's going to disagree with anything you've said about the homelessness and mental health and the housing issue. We recently had a conversation, didn't we, Hilary, around housing not being. It's the statutory responsibility of the council, but it's not just the council's problem. It's everyone's problem, and we need a borough-wide solution, some sort of think tank where we can actually come up with proper solutions given the limitations that we have financially at the moment. So. Just to let you know, Bernadette, that our research does include homelessness, and I know, is Amjid still in the room? It includes homelessness, right? Our research?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so absolutely does is what I can say.
I think we need a conversation.
Yeah, and also not only that part of the research includes homelessness, but actually we do have housing that come to the community hub, and people can access housing support, and through the MHIP program as well, housing and mental health. Obviously, mental health is a massive issue, so it is something that everybody is recognising.
It started in Tooting, this model, remember?
I have to acknowledge this model started in Tooting and Wandsworth. I understand. So they are partners on the programme. In fact, I don't know if Malik's here. Is Malik here?
And Mushkil Hassan was one of the key organisations that pushed and promoted this model, right? And we started from the front room of one woman's house.
How many years ago?
We've been going now 30 years, okay? But we started, women be inspired. We started in one room of one lady's home, who was a widowed lady too, right? And we grew from that base.
Isn't that fantastic to get the historical context? Thank you very much, Bernadette. I think Ghazala wants to raise
I basically just want to say it's good that you do have this in place, but how do you identify these people? That is the thing, we need to find, because I've been having these problems as well, and many times I've been forwarding things to Bernadette and she's ably sorted out something, but that's only the tip of the iceberg. Yeah. How do you identify these people? Yes. When these children end up being, killing people and using knives and things like that, that's when you identify them and say, oh, they haven't had a home, their parents were homeless, or there was a single mother. So how do we identify them? That has to be in place. I can see that the hub is there and people can go there, but how do you even tell them to go there? And then again, my favorite topic, I come to this problem of people not understanding the language. We have language barriers here. That's why we have so many marginalized people here. So this is something that we have to think about as well. How do we identify these people? How do we find out that they need this? Okay? Thank you very much.
And I think you're absolutely right. Having a front door where the community can access people who can speak to them. So conversations are hugely important in discovering what issues are beyond just filling in forms and just, delivering sessions on this and that. Actually having conversations, discovering what issues are and having people trained. So things like the mental health first aid certificate that we do, there are people trained now to recognise signs of mental health. We have community champion models where people are trained in coaching and to bring out conversations like this and try and understand where they can be signposted. We work very closely with social prescribers, and I know they are a huge they send people along to community hubs. So if somebody goes along to a GP surgery without a health issue, but they come to the GP because they don't know where else to go. So having a conversation with a social prescriber is hugely beneficial because they can then refer that person on to different services. So I think we are the most important thing is it is a recognition in the borough that is needed, and there are things being done. And I think us doing AGMs and others kind of highlight to the community the amount of work that is being done and recognition to these issues. So we are constantly having those conversations, but I do appreciate you bringing them up, Ghazala, and thank you for bringing it up. Do we have any other AOBs before I move on? We've got one here and we've got one there. So if I could, just in order of putting your hands up, if I could ask this gentleman. So if you could just say your name, because I believe you're one of the people I don't know. You know.
So hello, my name is Suhal Ahmed. I actually work for the Home Office as the National Community Engagement Lead, supporting South Asian communities, not just in Croydon but nationally. So we have a team that covers Asia, Caribbean, Africa and Europe. I'm also a community member. I was born in Mayday Hospital. This is my community, so it's a pleasure to be here, but also to see the success and the growth of your organisation. I've been following it quite closely online, so it's amazing to be here. But I just want to really touch on some of the topics raised by colleagues here regarding any other business. We've had homelessness, we've had also crime being mentioned here, but we present to the community on policy areas such as hate crime, antisocial behaviour. We also touch on homelessness, victims of crime. So if you'd like to invite us back in the near future to present to your community or to speak to people regarding these policy areas, we'll be happy to do that and happy to talk to anybody at the lunch period or after today's session. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. So as Charles said, you'll be able to grab him during lunch if you've got any questions. And let's have a chat after this event. Councillor Kabir, you have a question.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My particular question is, yes, we have a number of issues, but currently I want to mention about my experience in food bank. And since COVID, how things are getting worse. Number of food bank has already closed, but there are a number of people in the community that needs them, and how that demography is changing of that queue. One of the issues is number of people are settling in Croydon from different parts of the world as a care worker. Okay? When they come here, the care service, the home, care home, whoever gave them the job is not offering, the agency, they are not offering the job. It's very expensive training they are asking for a number of training, and some of them have no housing because they can't afford 1,200 to 1,500 to get a 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom flats. So this is a future problem that will be a big one in Croydon. And while I am here, I run a food bank called Queen's Community Hall Food Bank in Croydon, near Parsons Road and Bensham Lane. And every Sunday, 12 to 1, I'm there to support the community. If you know anyone who needs some help, sometimes they don't need to do a lot of paperwork. Just if they need it, food is available there for them. So if you know someone, please refer to me. Please talk to me while you're having your lovely lunch. And if you want to help to the food bank, please also talk to me. Here, Mr. Hussain, Gor Hussain, I hope you don't mind mentioning, every monthly he tries to help this food bank with some money from his mosques and his community. Thank you very much, Mr. Hussain, for supporting. There are a number of people who does help on monthly basis. And I thought I just bring this issue because this will be something to look at future because it's getting worse in the community. Thank you.
Thank you so much for highlighting the issues around food banks. And just to let you know that alongside yours, ARCC does have a food bank. And we run it every Tuesday from Norbury, where people can come and get a bag of food. It's a food club, I should say, rather than a food bank. So the people who take the food are actually members of a club. And we'd like to see new members joining our club, so do inquire and refer your clients to us. Thank you so much, Mr. Kabir. I think it's a bigger conversation than we can address today, and certainly I'll link you up with the Home Office colleague who's here around the issue about carers. I don't know the numbers of carers that are actually coming into Croydon. The Mayor might, but I certainly don't. Now, this is the very final bit of the AGM, and I know you've been really, really patient, and I know... Oh, you got another question? Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, I'm not very good at talking, but one thing I want to say is about regarding dementia. I have been to loads of businesses, and people don't understand what dementia is, especially the Asian community. You'll find it's amazing what they think dementia is. I've had people saying it's a sort of a disease, and it's not. It's people just don't understand it, and I think people need to be, if you can help and make people aware what dementia is, would really help. Something I'm very passionate about, not for myself, but I just feel the community needs to understand dementia isn't a small thing. It happens at a young age, at our age as well, and people need to understand it. That's all I'm going to say.
Thank you so much, Hussein. And I know, Hilary, you're looking at me because we're both about to talk about the dementia strategy, aren't we? So I'm going to pass the mic over to Hilary because you've probably articulated better than me, but there is a dementia strategy in the borough.
I don't know about articulating it better than Ima, but I will take the microphone. I think that's a fantastic point. There is a Croydon dementia strategy that is about to be launched, been launched. And I think that we've got a real opportunity here to then think about what that means in terms of the population that you're talking, that we've got some focus work that we can do. So absolutely, thank you.
Thanks for raising that. And Jay, if we could get the mic to this lady. Sorry, if you could just say your name.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I didn't want to kind of go off for lunch and then get lost somewhere. My name is Anis Hakim. I'm actually representing Children's Social Care.
Okay.
And I just wanted to say my name, and if anybody wants to, because I am here to network to see what we can do, what partnerships we can make with Children's Social Care. So it touches on homelessness and other things as well. So just come and find me. I will be at lunch.
Thank you so much for introducing yourself, because child poverty has been raised today. So if we can network you both together to have that conversation, Ghazala and sorry, I didn't catch your name.
It's Anis Hakim.
Anis Hakim. So that's a name to remember. Children's Social Care. I know, Jay. You did you put your hand up to say? Yeah. No. You were pointing that way. Okay. And I let me just acknowledge Priscilla and Jay, who came to me earlier today and said, "What about our coffee morning? When are you going to bring back the coffee mornings?" We've been struggling for a space to do the coffee mornings, but I know so many of our coffee morning members are here today. We do have the Norbury Club, and I know that it's not necessarily convenient for everyone to go to Norbury, but we are looking, and I promise I'll do something about it this coming year, and that's why I said raise it at the AGM, because it forces us and myself to do something about it. So the very final person on stage, last but not least, I'd like to invite our long-standing trustee, Dilly Surelia, to give the final vote of thanks before we go to lunch. But that's all from me today. Thank you very much.
I am hungry. Are you all hungry? Yeah. We've been seated for a long time, haven't we? Okay. Just a quick vote of thanks to some people here. Before I do the vote of thanks, I would like to make one special announcement, which is some of us who would like to do the Salah, the Namaz. There is a designated place here in the main hall. So be aware that there is a place, those of you who want to do some, it is time for Zohar Namaz now. And if you'd like to use the space there, it is in the main hall. Thank you. It really is humbling to see so many people attend today, celebrating and rejoicing the work of ARCC, which delivers in the community. We are looking forward to more exciting projects for the future and your support. Today, ARCC would like to thank our service users, past and present funders, stakeholders, strategic partners. Without them, it would be difficult for us to operate. We would also like to thank our guest speakers, Executive Mayor, Councillor Jason Perry, some councillors, together with our chair, who has worked tirelessly this year, who has not been well, but he was with us on board all the time. I really would like to thank him personally as well. CEO, who works very hard as well, Board of Directors, and the newly appointed board members. Not forgetting the support of Grand Sapphire and the team, where they make it possible for our events and AGMs to take place efficiently. Thank you, Grand Sapphire. Thank you very much. Now, this special thanks goes to our hardworking staff and volunteers of ARCC. Have to be thanked with a big round of applause. Thank you all for your hard work. We wouldn't be here. This event has been organized with the support of all our hard work of our staff and the volunteers who are present here. Thank you so much. We really appreciate all of you who do all this work for us. Now, as I said earlier, that I am definitely hungry. You all must be hungry. Please, let's get up and go and enjoy our food. And let's thank is it Spice Village who are providing us with this lovely, delicious food. Thank you all. Thank you.